I don't even know where to begin with this. I, 34M, and my wife, 33F, have 2 kids together, 11M and 9F. Me and my wife have been together for 12 years and married for 8. Around a year ago I noticed my wife increasingly sending me these tradwife or traditional housewife TikToks. I have nothing against that type of relationship, but I don't think it makes sense for our current family situation. I do earn quite a bit more than my wife and enough to sustain our family on my own, but I don't see the need to do so. I work 80% and my wife 50%, and besides Wednesdays where the both of us are working, either one of us is always home for the kids. I could work a 100% and let my wife be stay at home, but again, both of my kids are attending school and in my mind there is no need for my wife to be at home 24/7. She got increasingly pushy about it over the past 2 months, and again I just kept on telling her that there wasn't any need for that, and if we did decide to go down that route, what would she do during the hours my kids attended school? I know damn well our house doesn't need to be clean for 6 hours a day. She would constantly try to butter me up with "you would have dinner ready every day when coming home from work" and something about unlimited blowjobs or some BS like that. Again, in the nicest way possible, I would remind her that our kids weren't toddlers and our current work-life schedule allowed us to function perfectly fine. We got into a pretty heated argument 2 weeks ago about it, and my wife completely stopped having sex with me to show me what I would be missing out on. She's basically been treating me like a roommate since. I just thought she would get over it and this was just a phase, but God, was I wrong. I came home from work yesterday and saw a bunch of presents on the dining table. At first I thought they were all for me since my birthday was in a week, but then I saw the labels on them addressed to my wife. I read one of the letters attached to one of the presents. The last sentence on it was literally, "It was a pleasure working alongside you and I wish you all the best moving forwards." I thought this was some sick prank. A few minutes later my wife just casually strolled into the living room acting like nothing was wrong. I guess she saw my mad expression and had the audacity to tell me that "you'll get over it." I just lost it. I just left without saying another word and went to my parents' house. I feel absolutely disrespected. Why the fuck would my wife think it was okay to just quit her job without telling me and just expect me to be fine with it? My wife has been bombarding me with texts and calls demanding to know where I am and that the kids miss me. I just told her to go find a lawyer and that I was done with her, and then proceeded to block her. My son just sent me a voicemail crying and asking why I was divorcing mom and if I was leaving the family, and I guess that kind of broke my heart. I haven't responded and honestly don't know what to say to him. My mother-in-law has also been demanding that I return home and apologize to my wife. My parents also seem to be siding with wife since they are traditional Muslims. My mom also used to be a stay-at-home mom. I feel like I'm wrong for immediately jumping to divorce without hearing her out, and besides this whole job drama, love my wife too much for this to be the end of our otherwise perfect marriage, but on the other hand I feel like I've lost complete trust in her. Should I just swallow my pride and let my wife stay at home from now on, or should I follow through on divorcing her? How should I navigate this situation? Am I the asshole here? Narrator here, brief Q&A where OP answers some relevant questions. Commenter asking about their religion. Thank you, but we aren't strict Muslims. Yes, we pray, but we don't follow any of the traditional gender role ideologies. My wife tends to be a bit more on the conservative and traditional side, where I am a bit more liberal. And I mean, doesn't the same apply for Christianity? Commenter telling him to just go back home. I've told my son I'll be home by tomorrow. I'll just be gone for 2 days. Commenter assuming there had to have been red flags earlier than this. I mean, before this the only red flag I saw was her constantly just ignoring me if we had a disagreement, but usually that was for maybe max 2 days. This was the first time she did that for a longer period of time. Commenter asking what is the crux of the issue? The fact that she would be home relaxing isn't the issue. It's the fact that we now have to significantly cut down on our current expenses, and I'm not even sure if my company is willing to let me work 100%. Commenter ranting about this exchange. This trad wife shit is cult level crazy. The women who are indebted to trad wife culture out of some desire to be more valued, and have fewer outside of the home responsibilities, and the men who encourage women to become tradwives out of some weird chauvinist nostalgia for the family dynamics of the 40s to 60s and an insecure need to fully control their wife and household are codependent wrecks and borderline sociopaths, respectively. I feel so bad that you've been hit so hard by this. I imagine it'd be like figuring out one of your parents went down the QAnon rabbit hole or worse. You should split with her, absolutely. Beyond a certain point, there's no reasoning with these people. Opie's reply: thank you, but I don't think that this post should spread hate to those who currently are/were tradwives. It's a completely acceptable type of relationship if both parties agree to it, and that's my primary issue with all of this. There is no consensus bot on "Am I the asshole?" but the majority of responses were that OP is not the asshole in this situation. Update post 5 days later. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support I have received. I've received a ton of messages, but please be patient with me. This week has definitely been tough on me. This whole family drama has definitely taken a toll on me physically and mentally. I just want to add a few crucial details that I didn't mention in my original post. I suffer from a genetic heart condition that puts me at risk to stress-induced cardiac arrest. I used to work full-time but was forced to cut down on my work after suffering a silent heart attack. This was nearly a decade ago, but since then I've worked on my own physical and mental well-being. Some people didn't understand me constantly mentioning why it was such an issue working the extra 20%. I honestly don't know how much time I have left, and my kids are the most important things in my life. For my own mental health, it's essential that I get to spend time with my kids throughout the week. Besides my wife and kids, I have nothing. I hate my fucking job and purely continue for the sake of my kids and wife. Well, after spending a day at my parents' house, eventually I felt enough time had passed for me to gather my thoughts on everything. What she did seemed like the ultimate slap in the face, but I went back with the intention to resolve this and didn't want to escalate this fucking nightmare. My wife seemed happy I returned but wasn't apologetic at all. The kids, especially my son, were ecstatic. That sort of made me ignore the lack of remorse for the time being. That same night, after putting my kids to bed, I told her we need to have a serious discussion. I told her how I felt about everything she did. The fact that she knows about my health condition and still went through with it. The fact that I set clear boundaries and she still chose to quit her job without my consent. How the fact that she told my son that I was going to abandon the family really felt like a stab in the back. How throughout all of this, she didn't even seem remorseful once. The fact that she chose her own happiness to the detriment of mine. The fact I sacrificed so much for the family and I got repaid like this. The fact that we now as a family have to make major lifestyle changes, since a third of our family income vanished. For a split second I saw an ounce of sadness in her eyes before she went right back to being annoyed with me. I then simply told her to lay out her half of the story. Here is a summary of what she said. She felt ignored by me, constantly rejecting her proposal. She had worked long enough and this was finally the time for her to enjoy her life as a true wife. She also said that I was being a baby about the whole spending extra time with the kids thing. That really pissed me off and we ended up getting into a heated argument. I couldn't bear any of it anymore and just ended up sleeping in the guest room. Until yesterday, nothing changed. She constantly tried to play everything off and wanted to embrace her new role by constantly trying to have sex with me and by making me my favorite dishes. It just felt like she was trying to manipulate me again. I wasn't having any of it. I just kept on sleeping in the guest room. Well, my birthday was yesterday. And after work my wife and kids picked me up and we ate dinner together. This was probably the first time I genuinely had a smile on my face in a week. Well, that smile vanished because she tried to seduce me again later that night. I rejected her and to my surprise she had a full-on mental breakdown. I just held her as she started apologizing for what she did. She claimed she didn't understand how much she hurt me, she was sorry for making me feel like an afterthought, etc. We ended up sleeping in the same bed yesterday. I felt like things were finally moving in the right direction and I again asked her about searching for a new job today. Instead of getting mad, she just replied with a "I need to think about it." Yeah, that's where things are as of today. It feels like progress is being made, but this might just be another manipulation tactic of hers. I'll probably make a final update in a month or so. Reddit isn't doing my mental health any favors. How would you guys move forward in this situation? Could I have done something better? Is she being genuine? More Q&A from the update post. Commenter, if you're still questioning things at this point, respectfully, take your head out of your ass. Opie's reply, I guess you're hinting at divorce. Let me make it more clear for you. In our culture, divorce is the last resort and extremely frowned upon, especially if there are kids involved. I want to fix this. If she shows no improvement after I've tried everything, then I'll file for divorce. Commenter, she's not even being a good trad wife, since they are supposedly meant to put their husband's needs ahead of their own, but she is definitely putting her wants ahead of your needs. It sounds like you really need couples counseling. Opie's reply, she believes my needs solely revolve around sex. That's the problem. She has always been like this. She fucks up or wants something from me, she'll just be trying to fuck me 24/7. Commenter, when she came to you with her issue, what did you do to help find a solution? Opie's reply, I constantly told her she can reduce her hours if she wants. That's fine with me. Being at home 24/7 without my consent is where I draw the line. There has been no further update since the last post. Should there be an update, it'll come in another video. Thanks for watching. For comments or questions, please put them in the comments below. Subscribe and click the bell for more stories coming soon.